All right, the Detroit Lions have an important player skyrocketing up the depth chart, and we're going to break him down. And just the more this offseason goes on, the more I realize that he's going to be a really important player, and really excited to see that. But before we get into that, Detroit Lions Mount Rushmore got me thinking about it. Would love to know your thoughts in the comments. For me, Barry, Kelvin, I'm going to get weird and just do Jared Goff just because of what he's done. I mean, come on. And then Chris Spielman. That's a little wild right there. The Jared Goff one, you could probably put some more thought into that a little bit and get, go back. There's been great players in the Lions history, so I'm obviously just very recency bias, but let's go. Barry Sanders, Kelvin Johnson, Jared Goff, and Chris Spielman. Let me know your Detroit Lions Mount Rushmore. Okay, this guy keeps popping up. He just popped up again. ESPN did an article about players who surprised us most this offseason. Now, sorry for this website acting weird, but this bottom part popped up for some reason. But it's Levi Onwuzurike again. And we're going to get into this and plus a couple other things here and just some other news. But again, he's getting noticed all over the place. Dan Campbell's talked about him. Kelvin Shepard's talked about him. ESPN now is finding that he's being talked about. Dan Campbell said he's been impressed, describing him as being in really good shape. His strength and explosiveness have returned during reps this offseason. He hopes to be an asset to the Detroit defense. The former second-round pick in 2021 has had his development derailed by injuries in his first 3 seasons. And he said, redemption. I got to show people what I can do. I got to show myself what I can do. And if you look at the Lions depth chart and why this is so important is because Aleem McNeil, DJ Reader. Then after that, we keep talking about it. If you want to go to the places the Lions want to go, into the playoffs and deep into the playoffs, defensive line, offensive line has to be really important. And there just has to be depth, right? I mean, man, there just, I guess if there was one question mark for the Lions, or if you had to start coming up with question marks, so it's A, it's hard to find, which is a good thing, but B, it's like, well, if I had to come up with something, it'd be kind of like depth on the defensive line. But we have the players. That's the thing. Who is going to emerge? It has to be somebody. Is it going to be Levi, who was not even on the radar a year ago at this time? Was it this time where it's just like, okay, he's injured again? Then he was like a 4th rounder. Then he was practice squad. Then he was like, oh, he got in there. Then, now he's all the way up the depth chart to a really important place where it's like, all right, Aleem, DJ Reader go down. Is it Levi? Is it Wingo? Is it Broderick Martin? Like Pascal can slide inside. Kaminsky has a little bit, but they're not like true defensive tackles that the Lions need. So it would be huge for him. And, I look back at Levi, some of his pre-draft workout stuff when he came out of Washington. Again, he was a 2nd-round pick, but, talked about how explosive he was and how he actually has explosiveness and power. It's like, well, that'd be cool. Explosiveness, power, all the things that the Lions need in that defensive tackle position to interior pressure. I mean, it's just that defensive line was not great last year. And that's why I never could really just get on Aaron Glenn, because I thought, man, this defense isn't great. We have no defensive line and we have no corners. And we're still in there. I mean, we're just hanging tough, right? So I now corners are there, defensive tackles there, and DJ Reader, Aleem McNeil, Levi. Can he continue his ascent up the depth chart and to be really a good player for the Lions? It would be huge. Okay, a couple other things I just thought was interesting. The Detroit Lions. There's an offensive line expert who thinks the Detroit Lions in his class of its own. So Brandon Thorne runs a podcast and some different things, and he went and talked about how the Detroit Lions are in a class of their own. He has only one team in the top elite offensive line tier, your Detroit Lions. And so what he does in order to get this, he's like, I specialize in evaluating trench play. The primary focus I use to arrive at these rankings are game film evaluation of each individual offensive lineman, 2023 performance as a unit, age, experience, continuity, and coaching. Okay, absolutely. Thank you. So to say that the Lions are in a class of its own from a guy that's just, I mean, truly breaking it down. We can say that. We can look around and but we don't have eyes on other teams. I always warn fans of that. We're so focused on our teams. Like, man, look at these moves we made. Well, everybody else is making moves. Everybody else has a good offensive or has offensive lines that are they good or they not? Like, where do we compare? And so to see this is really good because that combination of youth with experience, continuity with everybody coming back except one guy, and then the coaching. It's like, okay, I thank you. Thank you, Thorne, for what you have to say. So again, we know Sewell, all pro, everything, 23 years old. Frank Ragnow, man, everyone loves him and everybody knows his story. And I think that's why they love him so much is because it's like, man, he's just injured. He plays literally through injury. Um, Everybody says they do that, and they do, but it's like, no, I like really like my toes are broke. I don't even like crazy. Like I don't have my ankles sprained. It's like I shouldn't be out here. I have a sprained ankle. I have a knee that's like, whatever. He's got everything. It's like crazy. So Taylor Decker, Frank Radno, Taylor Decker, and Sewell. Love it. Then Graham Glasgow just played really well. I think this offense and what the Lions do and the way they do play action and take the pressure off of offensive linemen, because that, you're not running downhill, just like banging into each other constantly. It's a free flowing offense a little bit more. So Graham Glasgow really fit in well and is playing great. And then Zeitler, perfect. I mean, yeah, he's out at the end of his career, but man, just a guy that I think can make it happen. Okay, another thing that I thought was funny. PFF ranked their top 10 worst coaching hires, and as expected, Matt Patricia was there. Gosh, number 7. It's really bad. It was really bad just because of the whole thing. I mean, Stafford was at the end of his, not the end of his career, but at the end of his prime. I mean, prime Stafford. It's like, we got to get this right. Caldwell's getting us 9-7. So it's like, do you stay with him? It's like, no, we're going to take that next leap. We're going to really go for it. And we're going to bring in this Matt Patricia guy. And so bad all the way through. I mean, just from media coverage to trading our best players. I mean, guys didn't like him, didn't want to play for him. It's like, oh my goodness, is this what we want? So I bring this up just because now the Lions are in a place where it's like, man, Dan Campbell is we're lucky to have him, and it just feels good to know that we're always in the mix. He's always got us in the right. The franchise is just calm. It's just easy to root for, man. It's awesome. So let me know your thoughts in the comments, and we'll see all of you on the next one.